So this was the very first jumper that I knitted up in 2022. In fact, I actually finished in 2022. I think I started it slightly before. It's made in Sandnes garn in the mustard colour, and I got the yarn through a Norwegian distributor in the UK. The pattern came from the front of an old Wendy Shetland yarn knitting brochure with lots of garments and skirts knitted in Wendy Shetland, which you can't get now. This was many years ago. I'll show you a picture of that. Also, it was knitted up on 4mm needles. It's a double knit. It was not in the pattern, it was not done on circular needles, but knitted in pieces, which you would have to sew up together. But I wear this one a lot. I love the lace pattern in it. It seems to fit me nicely, and the yarn's comfortable. It's not crispy or itchy. Yeah, it's the Gynt yarn, Sandnes garn Gynt. I'll show you some pictures of me wearing most of my garments when we're in Sanday during the summer and autumn, and they will run alongside the garments I show you today. So this was my second garment that I made in 2022, and this was another first in the sense that I marled my yarns together. So I had 3 different plies, in fact 2 different plies. I had a lighter lace ply in the black, and in the other 2 colours they were sort of 3 plies, even 4 plies. So I was knitting up a worsted, I would say, which is slightly thicker than a double knit. I still did it on a double knit 4mm needle. So this was knitted up in pieces. As you can see, that there is a seam, as there is a seam there. But this is ombre, so the bottom half included a darker red with a medium red and a black. The ombre changes here when you keep the medium red and the black, but to add in a red instead of the burgundy. So this was a brighter section. And then the change happens here when you keep medium red with the black ply, but added a sort of a lilac-y grey into the mix. And that goes up into the collar, polar neck collar. It all matches up on the sleeves, which were knitted separately, so they had to match up with everything that was done on the back and the front. So again, on the same theme of marling, I mixed up a few other colours. So I have a red with a darker red and a cream. Probably a lot more actually in there, because I can't remember, because I actually marled quite a few together. This has looks like a grey, but it's actually made up of browns, lilacs, creams, and a kind of a fawny colour. So therefore I made a nice stripe. I made a split hem, garter stitch border. This was knitted from the top downwards, so I finished at this point here. And the sleeve has a little tab with a button and a curled up hem. At the back, if I turn this around, there is a button opening. This I did by using some short rows. So I'll bring that back around again. The necklace you might see from time to time is from a local craft maker who makes William Morris heritage jewellery, and Malcolm bought me that as a present, and I'd just like to show it off. Now, on the same basis that I knitted quite a few strands together, this is probably made up of 6 different strands, including beiges, creams, whites, a little bit of mohair in amongst it, although not very much so. I think this was a light mohair strands were used in this. It's got a lace front of looking like a little plant, a little flower that I created. But what's good about this jumper is the shaping has lace. It's increased using a yarn forward, so it has a lacy hole to show where the actual increase is, and then the sleeve is all part of the same garment, no separate pieces to knit other than picking up the stitches along the edge and ribbing that way. The neck is just stocking stitch, which curls back on itself, and the back is plain. Now this is where I was experimenting with blues and peaches, and you can see that I used just those 2 colours in the body of the cardigan, and the brown was for trimming. Also there's a brown in the Scandinavian patterning along the bottom edge of the cardigan, and that has a background of lilac-y grey, which was seen in the polo neck jumper around the collar and the top of the jumper. So this was a lovely raglan sleeve, which I enjoy doing. I enjoy doing raglan sleeves. Underneath, it's mainly a tunic, small tunic, so it becomes like a twin set. And so it's a striped top using the same colours that are in the cardigan. The only difference is I did some embroidery in places using a red and a lilac, just to set it off, really, just to break it up so that it's just not too stripy looking. It has wooden buttons. So you can also see from this jumper that I'm wearing, and I don't wear this one very often, that it has long sleeves which have a little split hem at the bottom. So I have elastic in the ribbing there, so I can pull it up if I want to. The blue is actually in here with a deep red again, and the lilac-y blue. The black body has a little bit of 4x4 stitching here, but the main feature of this one is the collar. I kind of wanted it to have a kind of medieval Tudor look to it, and certainly it gives me that vibe. But yeah, no, I don't seem to wear this one very often. So, and I like it. It's nice and warm. It's good for today, whilst it's cold. I also knitted a skirt, or as I call it, a bottom warmer, because I tend to wear it over trousers, with some cabling in the front and a little bit of how many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5x2 rib. They're just plain on the back, so I know which one's front and which one's back, elasticated. And it's made from North Ronaldsay yarn, Aran weight, and this is actually the colour of the sheep, so this isn't dyed at all. Lovely and soft, has a lovely soft feel to it, the North Ronaldsay fleece. This is a very beautiful jumper. It's not knitted, it's crocheted, and using the blue theme again, we used some of that turquoisey blue with lighter turquoises and some purples, aubergine, but it's quite thick, and it was crocheted from the top downwards, and using 2 colours in the top, and that's 2 blends, so the colour from this part is in the top, but you will see another jumper I have that has the other colour blend in it, so I used the rest of that to finish the yoke. It's like a 1x1 mosaic, which was quite easy to do, really, surprisingly. And this is just one blend with a diagonal going down, and then a 1x1 rib in crochet. Sleeves to match, of course. Beautiful colour. I like this one. It's quite heavyweight as well. It is quite a heavy one, this one, obviously, because it's crochet and it's got about 3 or 4 different yarns in it. This is the other colourway to that jumper. I wanted to try and emulate copper, and I think I've not done so badly. It's got that kind of verdigris look, and again it's using many strands of yarn. It's coned yarn, by the way. So also I've included some of the Sandnes Garn mustard from my very first jumper, because I had 1 ball left and that was knitted in to help me track my shaping. It looks very puffy on the top there, but it doesn't actually do so badly when you've got it on. Down the side, because I was getting bored of doing stocking stitch all the way around, because this is on a circular needle, it has a lace pattern, lace diamond pattern. The ribbing on the edge was a broken rib of 3x1, and I think, as I said, I worked from the top downwards on a circular needle, so there was no sewing other than patching up underneath the arms. You always have to do a little bit of sewing underneath the arms. But yeah, that one, again, it's not one I wear too often, but I do like it. I like the look, the colouring of it. Again, it's shaded from a pink, a brighter peachy pink, to a darker pink, and then to more of a spice. So it's kind of trying to show what copper is like in its different shades. From the Carol Feller book on short row knitting, and the reason I love this jumper is because of its curved hem at the back. It just curves downwards and it fits my shape nicely. Has a kind of a seed stitch, garter stitch edging. This part was all done on a circular needle, works from the top down, and considering it has a shaping there were short rows involved in that, and that was done on 2 needles. The shoulder shaping can be seen here, using short rows and then picking up and knitting the stitches around the armhole and then knitting down to the cuff. I do really like this. I adapted her pattern to use the aubergine, navies, lilacs, lilac-y tweeds. Again, there's 3 or 4 colours, if not more, in that. This was knitted by myself just to work with a number of the garments. I can wear that with my first garment, this garment, and another one that will be coming later. It was made from Calypso, Aubergine, Emerald and Spice, which came from the Holst Garn in Denmark. And to prove that, this jumper here was knitted in pieces. It wasn't on a circular needle, which therefore made this more challenging, because this was done with knit row and back purl row all the way up, using the stripe as the background and the beautiful purple as the second colour. It's kind of Intarsia and Fair Isle mixed. This was the third colour. That was very challenging. This, I have to admit, I put in as Swiss darning. This is slightly thicker, but there are all blends that I'm using. The blends have the spice in. And you'll see this in my next jumper. You've got the purpley colours and you've got the Calypso. And in this one, you've got that emerald colour. It's one that I really like. And I have some triangles on the cuff with a button and a round neck. Is Kaffe Fassett pattern from the pattern library. Now, this was a major project, using the Aran weight. I blended again several strands of yarn, including the spice yarn, and developed this pattern from the Alice Starmore Aran book. So on the sleeves is mainly the checkerboard pattern, lace panel at the front with bobbles and various cables into a checkerboard towards the seam. But what I really like about this one is the beautiful raglan merging into the sleeve. So there's two panels really of knit one, purl one. The trend was for baggy necks, which is a double neck, and baggy square, would you say? Square and short. But this is crochet, mosaic, again, mosaic crochet, using all the colours that you've seen up to now, using them up basically. Beautiful, aren't they? I love this. This really doesn't come out very much, I have to say. Not been, I could start wearing it now the winter's come, because it's really heavy. It's really heavy and warm, and so is the jumper. was a bit of guesswork. But yeah, no, I think it works. Again, it has that lovely raglan. It has a split hem, which makes it work better actually. Knit 2 purl 2 rib all the way around, back and front, and on the sleeves, and just a simple stocking stitch. But this is more bronzy, again using goldy bronzy colours, mustardy colours with varying shades of blue and a little bit of fleck of white. Again, plied together as whilst you're knitting. I don't wear this one often. I think that's going to be a summer one, to be fair, to go with a nice summer dress. So this is a very big and baggy, yeah, off the shoulder. Let's see, it doesn't stay on, it's big and baggy. Doesn't stay on this model anyway. Not very well. But I like it. I like to wear this one. This is cozy, and it's made with a strand of mohair and a strand of the emerald Holst yarn that you've seen in some of the jumpers up to now, particularly the Kaffe Fassett one in the stripe there. So that's mixed in with this, and it just gives it a lovely marl. I like the marl in that. It's quite gentle, and the nice green buttons as well. This short top was marled with the Calypso green, the lime colour, with textured yoke and garter stitch to the rib. It was made in 2 pieces. It has a seam there and along the shoulder. But this is lovely just as it is over a dress. I've worn it over dresses, and it's like it's unfinished, but it settles nicely above the waist. This is another mohair, and it was knitted up with 2 strands, I think, of this pale green colour, with a lace sleeve, short sleeve, which is very pretty. And I also made a long scarf in crochet to go with it, with a bit of a flowery diamond shape in the middle here. Again, I have worn this one a few times. I do like this one, and I sometimes wear it over a dress. This one I wanted a denim look, so it's quite heavy, quite thick, and uses several blues and actually a green, emerald green in there, and the whites to create that sort of effect. And this is based on a top I made many years ago using the lace insets, which is basically 1 treble 1 chain for about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows and a few rows of double crochet. And it's just a slash neck joined at the shoulder with a little picking up the stitches around the armhole to make the band, and then a little headband to go with it. Yeah, it's quite useful, even as an extra layer, you know, when for warmth, but it's quite light as well. Now this is the last of it, and it's a pretty cowl neck made using Guernsey or Gansey stitching, marriage lines, 3-fold cord, a bit of just stocking stitch there, and the hat using the 3-fold cord, and it looks like a cardigan with the buttons down the front and the flat crown. This was made from yarn I bought from the county show this year in August, and it was produced by a wool producer on the Isle of Oskerry, AUSKERRY, which is a private island south of Stronsea. I also made this Gudrun Johnson hat using Spindrift, Shetland Spindrift, in some of the bright colours I have in my cushion, which I had left, with the pom-pom. I like that one too. Hello there. Thank you for coming to the end of this video, if you stayed that long. And I hope you enjoyed some of the things that we have been showing you for the last 12 videos. These are the first 12 videos of the Saucia and Lilac Slow Living Crafting with Claire episodes. Next year, I plan to do some more. I'm going to think about how I'm going to do this, whether I'm going to do it on a week-to-week basis. We'll have to see. Thank you for supporting my little channel this year. It's been a difficult year for all of us, hasn't it? All of us are struggling with something in our lives. But always remember, this is only temporary. And that to have faith and hope that things will not stay the same, that things will get better, and also that The best is yet to come.